Welcome back to the Geek Gospel. Happy Friday, everybody in the house. What's going on? We made it. We made it through the end of the week. And with that means more movies to see and more things to talk about. And I can't wait to get into it with you today. We got a lot of stuff. We have my spoiler-free review of F1 that I saw last night. The Social Network sequel, the Ratatouille sequel, Denis Villeneuve, not sequel, Bond, baby. And a bunch of Transformers stuff is coming, I guess, again from Michael Bay. Do we need it? No, but we're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk a little bit about Eden trailer from Ron Howard. And we're going to watch that clip that came out on Jimmy Kimmel of Superman and Lex and Superman being rage baited, which looks fantastic. So let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. And right away, I want to talk about F1 in a spoiler-free review just to give my thoughts. I've sat for it with 12 hours to spare. What a great movie. What a fun time at the theater. Is this movie going to win any Oscars? Yes. No, it's not going to win any Oscars. But it's a hell of a ride. And Joseph Kosinski did such a fantastic job. You know, as you know, he is hot off of Top Gun Maverick a couple summers ago, which was the hit of the summer, and followed it up not in the sky, but on the ground with another vet actor in Brad Pitt and another young actor like Top Gun with Damson Idris. On top of that, you know, you got Javier Bardem, you got Carrie Condon. It was a great movie to watch. Really, really fun time in the theater. I would highly recommend it. You know, a lot of people I see that were saying that this script, the story, it's very simple. And it is. It's a very simple story, right? The, veteran who back in the day could have been the greatest, something happened and it didn't go his way, is now the vet and brought back into the fold and supposed to be a mentor to the young guy, and they're supposed to work together, but the young guy is cocky. We've seen it all before. But in this movie, it works. It works really well. The racing scenes are shot beautifully. The cameras are in the car. You're low to the ground. You hear the engines. You see the machinations of what goes into F1 racing, having warm tires, having cold tires, the effect of that grabbing the ground and having that advantage within the race. You really see what F1 is all about. And you really see how big Lewis Hamilton is in. He's a producer, he's in it. And so it's really a deep dive into this world of F1 racing. I believe there's only 19 professional racers in the world. So it's very niche. And obviously Brad Pitt carries the film, but his scenes with Javier Bardem are fantastic. I mean, I would love to see another movie with these two. I think, they have some funny lines and their relationship, carries the movie in a lot of ways. And I wasn't expecting that. So I was really happy to see that, Javier Bardem and Brad Pitt, these vets on screen, have so much chemistry. So I'd love to see that. On top of that, Brad Pitt and Damson Idris have great chemistry as well, some great scenes. And Damson Idris really got to show his acting chops and not a lot of screen time. I mean, he is, the co-star, but obviously the focus is on Brad Pitt's Sonny character. But I really enjoyed him. It didn't seem too hokey or forced, the angry young vet or the angry young driver who brought in the vet and now his star power is getting overshadowed by this older guy. We've seen that trope time and time again, but I would say the way that he played it was really entertaining. His mother, I forgot her name. She's in Ted Lasso. She's the therapist in Ted Lasso. She's fantastic. The mother and son relationship really reflects mother and son relationships with young stars and how attached they are to the mother, whether the father left or passed away early. You really get to see that connection as well, which I really enjoyed. But, overall, I would say, and then Carrie Condon as well. Carrie Condon is a love interest, I would say, for Brad Pitt. And it's really cute. So their love, their love interest story is really cute. It's not heavy-handed, but it's going to happen. It plays really well in the movie, and she tries to bridge, the gap between the vet and the cocky young guy, and it's really cool to see. On top of that, what's really big is the pit crew. The people, the crew, the pit, the team. It's not just the person driving that makes the team. It's the pit crew. It's the entire people, the people in the chair talking to the driver, giving pointers of where the other drivers at and stuff like that. And so it really focuses also on how important this pit crew is and how fast they need to be when the car comes into the pit for things to be changed. So I really enjoyed, getting all the machinations of what makes F1 special. It really made me be like, I want to see an F1 race. I mean, they're expensive as hell, I imagine. And they had one in on the strip in Vegas, and it looked beautiful. And so it did its job. It got you into F1, which I didn't think was possible, and it was never on my radar. It just was a world I was too unfamiliar with. But I think this movie makes you a lot more familiar with this world. And, I'm not an expert, so I can't say for sure, but, it had experts behind it with Lewis Hamilton producing and them getting permission to use the track. So it seemed like they really showed respect to the sport, and I really appreciate that, and I think it really works. So I highly recommend this movie. This is a great summer tentpole. This is a great movie to go in the theaters on the biggest screen possible and enjoy the ride. I would have done it in 4DX. My neck is messed up, so I'm not going to make it worse. As much as I love movies, I can't do that, but I would highly recommend seeing this in the biggest screen or a chair that moves, because it is a hell of a time and a hell of a ride. So that's F1. Highly recommend it. Now, on top of that, I have been watching some stuff in between Wednesday when we last spoke and Friday, on top of seeing a movie. I started season 4 of The Bear, baby. And I do have to say, it feels like from the jump of season 4, it gets back to what we loved most about the show. I watched 5 episodes, so I'm halfway through. Unfortunately, everyone and their effing mother is spoiling the hell out of the ending. So I did see how this season ends, but I'm here for the ride. I think it's really well done. There's some slower scenes that take me out of it a little bit. But other than that, it really seems like it's getting back to what we loved, and that's the chaos in the kitchen. That's the success of not the show, but obviously the show, the success of the restaurant itself, and what makes this going to be successful or fail. And there's a countdown that starts in the beginning. We see it in the trailer, but it's basically the countdown to when the money runs out, which is only a couple months. So it's really entertaining and really good, and I'm really enjoying it. So highly recommend jumping on The Bear season 4. Hopefully I'll finish it by the end of the weekend. All right, guys. I think that's it for what I watched. Let's get into some news. As you know, The Social Network is one of the best David Fincher movies. I mean, Jesse Eisenberg is fantastic. It put Andrew Garfield on the map right before he was about to play Spider-Man. And in real life, it seemed like there was a lot more story to tell because, as we know, with Mark Zuckerberg, there is a crap load of drama since Facebook became the one of the biggest social networks in the nation. And so we were wondering, is it possible that we would ever get a social network sequel? And apparently we are now going to get it, and it's going to be written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, who I believe wrote the first one. This comes to us from Variety. They say Aaron Sorkin is not finished telling the Facebook story. The Academy Award winner is developing The Social Network Part 2 at Sony Pictures. Sorkin has written a screenplay and is set to direct the follow-up to the 2010 film The Social Network, helmed by David Fincher, which chronicled the early days of Facebook. Sorkin's sequel is based on the Wall Street Journal's The Facebook Files, a series of articles authored by Jeff Horowitz and published in October 2021, which further exposed the inner workings of the company. Jesse Eisenberg starred as Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network, but casting has yet to be announced for the sequel. Part 2 is in development with Todd Bank, Peter Rice, Sorkin, and Stuart Besser producing. The original film was a critical and commercial hit, earning $226 million at the global box office and receiving 8 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture. Sorkin's win for Best Adapted Screenplay, because the film was loosely based on Ben Mesrich's book, The Accidental Billionaires, was one of the 3 Oscars that it ultimately took home. In recent years, Sorkin has openly discussed his intentions of making a sequel. He started floating the idea in 2021, saying, "What has been going on with Facebook these last few years is a story very much worth telling." But around this time, he suggested a sequel would only move forward if Fincher agreed to direct it. Apparently, that didn't happen. And then during a live recording of the Town podcast last year, Sorkin confirmed that he began writing about the social media company's recent dealings. He said, "I blame Facebook for January 6th. Though he did not answer why he blamed Facebook for Trump supporters storming the U.S. Capitol. Instead, he teased, 'You're going to need to buy a movie ticket.'" So this bad boy was already being sold at that time. Sorkin was more forthcoming about what he was trying to write about, saying Facebook has been, among other things, tuning its algorithm to promote the most divisive material possible, because that is what will increase engagement. That is what will get you to what they call inside the hallways of Facebook, the infinite scroll. There is supposed to be a constant tension at Facebook between growth and integrity. There isn't. It's just growth. Deadline was the first to report on this news. So it seems like we are getting a social network sequel. And I, for one, am really excited. I think there's a lot more story to tell. The story of Facebook was not finished being told in the first movie, and Aaron Sorkin's incredible dialogue and storytelling will lend extremely well to a sequel. On top of that, Aaron Sorkin has dove into the director's chair before. He made that movie with, oh man, what's her name? Jessica Chastain. It is called, man, what was it called? I had it up right. I think he also directed, let's see. I'm just talking out my butt right now, guys. Sorry about that. Let's see. What did our boy direct? I'm gonna give you guys dead air in the meantime. So he did recently direct Being the Ricardos in 2021, which I really enjoyed. Javier Bardem, who we just talked about, Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball. He did The Trial of the Chicago 7, and he did Molly's Game. So in the past, 10 years or 8 years, he's dipped his foot in the directing chair several times, and I don't think he's really missed. I mean, Molly's Game was highly entertaining, really good, true story about the gambling world and the FBI raiding this legal gambling ring that was going on. And the trial of the Chicago Seven was really fantastic, and I really enjoyed being the Ricardo. So I think he has said enough to show people that he can direct, that he is not just a writer. And the fact that he is writing and directing this, I think this is a great movie. So, I mean, I think this is a great move on Sony Pictures to move forward with this movie. So, let me know what you guys think. Do you think there needs to be a Social Network sequel? Are you excited about it? Does Aaron Sorkin being the champion of this movie make you more excited? Drop your comments below. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get in on another sequel. For the longest time, Ratatouille has been one of the most iconic Pixar movies, since its release in 2007. On top of that, it seems like Pixar has found out that people love sequels to their classic Pixar stories. We just got a sequel to Inside Out that was fantastic, one of my favorites, to be honest. And that bad boy was almost, I think, a $2 billion movie. On top of that, the sequel to Incredibles was also hugely receptive. And so it makes sense to go back to the well and make a Ratatouille sequel. This comes to us from Dark Horizons. They say Pixar is reportedly developing a sequel to its beloved 2007 animated feature, Ratatouille. Jeff Schneider broke the news earlier this week on the Hot Mic, saying the project is now in early development at the studio. No further details were available. The reports follow in Elio debuting to the worst opening weekend for a Pixar film to date, raising obvious concerns about the future of the company if it's not able to successfully launch new IP. It also suggests Disney is likely to double down on sequels in the future, with titles joining Toy Story 5, Incredibles 3, and Coco 2 all currently in the works. Brad Bird directed the original film, which is set in Paris and follows a young rat, Remy, who dreams of becoming a chef at Auguste Gusteau's restaurant and tries to achieve his goal by forming an unlikely alliance with the restaurant's garbage boy, Alfredo Linguini. The title became a critical and commercial success with a gross of $623.7 million worldwide and won Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. I, for one, cannot wait for this bad boy. It's about time, because Ratatouille is simply fantastic, and I am hungry for more. Get it? So I can't wait. I think it's a great idea. I think there's so much more that you can do with a Ratatouille sequel. I think there's a lot more countries and different cuisines and things that you can really dive into. And, Pixar is just so good with their animation to dive into more different foods, whether it's an international food competition. People love food competitions. They love the TV shows, Iron Chef and stuff like that. And so I think to dive into that world with, using Ratatouille would be a really great way to see other chefs, to see other cuisines, and then also to see these two working together again in a competitive landscape. I think that would be a really fun watch. But I'm sure whatever they do, it's going to be a great time. And so I am really excited. So let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for a Ratatouille sequel? Do you think, this thing is too classic and we should not be doing so many sequels to classic Pixar movies. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Okay, guys. With that down, I want to get into this clip. So as I stated, weird that it's doing that. Every time I switch a scene, it drops me off from it. But we're going to continue with these technical difficulties because that's what we do. We push through even when we're alone on the mic, as we usually are. But I wanted to get into this clip that was circulating. Oh, it's not coming. There we go. I wanted to get into this clip. This is just so good. It's really quick, but it was on Jimmy Kimmel, and I'm going to watch it with you guys. Let's go, baby.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be...
Lex, I tried to stop him.
It's fine, Mother. Superman, we finally meet. Would you like a coffee?
Where's the dog?
Dog?
The dog, loser! You took the dog!
That's right, you get all of this.
Where's the dog?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
He's just a dog.
I don't know what dog you're talking about. Ugly dog and cape.
What did you say?
Wow, you guys. Wow. So that is hilarious. Ugly dog and a cape. I didn't even hear what he said. I had to look it up. So he's just rage baiting. When I make a move, it takes me off. That's so funny. He's just pretty much rage baiting Superman, and it's so good to see that this Lex is a intelligent, trolling piece of crap and getting under Superman's skin to make him so angry by going as low as stealing his dog. That is incredible. So I just wanted to show that clip. Man, that was entertaining as all heck. And I'm getting so excited for this movie. All right, guys, let's get into our last topic. Before we do, though, I do want to just mention the news did come out that Michael Bay is coming out with a feature film of his own back in the Transformers world, a spin-off, a crossover with G.I. Joe is still happening with Transformers. It seems like they're really beating a dead horse. The last couple of Transformers movies have not been good, but they still make some money, and they're not stopping Michael Bay, who can't do anything else but Transformers movies, I guess. So I did want to mention that. It's not enough for me to make a banner, make a picture. I've gotten pretty much over the Transformers movies after the first, the three original, if you will. Did watch Transformers 1, which was fantastic, but that is not Michael Bay related. I am going to sneeze in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Man, do you like countdowns to sneezes? Because I just did that thing. All right, guys. Every time I put a bit, it is taking me off. But I do want to talk about this. As last week, I reported that Amazon was under 5 finalists to compete for the James Bond director's chair. And now we have our James Bond director in the fantastic Dune trilogy director, Denis Villeneuve. And it is a solid choice. It is a solid choice. As we went over, there was Andrew Berger from Conclave. There was, Edward Wright from The Running Man and Baby Driver. There was the Paddington director, amongst a couple others. And the interesting one was Denis Villeneuve, who is coming off of 2 incredible Dune movies. Arguably, the second one is the best sci-fi movie of the past decade. And we were wondering, is Denis really going to get into another big IP hot off of already trying to finish Dune Messiah, the third iteration in the Dune trilogy. Well, it seems like that's not stopping him because he's coming back to direct the Bond 26 movie, and I'm super excited. Dude, this is crazy. Every time I add something, it removes me. There's a glitch in the system. What we gonna do in the system? This comes to us from Deadline. They say Denis Villeneuve's booking as the next James Bond director should come as no surprise to followers of the Dune director's work. He has spoken about his desire to helm 007 for more than a decade. Villeneuve has peppered many an interview with "Come and get me, please" to Barbara Broccoli. Now that the storied British producer has handed over the Bond franchise to Amazon MGM Studios, his calls have been answered by Amy Pascal and David Hyman. As far back as a decade ago, when Villeneuve was on the promotion trail for Sicario, the Canadian said that action is art and Bond is a very pinnacle of the genre. He quoted, and I love this quote, I had to put it up there. And every time I do, some of my earliest movie-going memories are connected to 007. I grew up watching James Bond films with my father ever since Dr. No with Sean Connery. This bad boy is in his blood. He also said, I'm someone that loves movement. Action, if it's well done, can be very poetic and meaningful. 2 years later, Villeneuve admitted that he held talks about directing Bond, but the timing was not right because he was ramping up work on Dune. He said, I had some contract, and the thing is that I'm busy right now. Well, fortunately for us, he is busy no more because the Broccoli family, more the Amazon family, has chosen their director. I think this is a great choice. I think Denis Villeneuve is the best working director under Christopher Nolan. I think, early reports saying that they tried to get Christopher Nolan are absolutely true, and they didn't do it. They did not get the deed done, but they got the French version of Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve, who is one of the best directors doing it right now. I think his love for 007 will go incredibly far, and I think we are in for a fantastic treat with Denis at the helm for 007. So I, for one, am super excited. And there has been some information that has come out about how much control he has over this film. It's being reported by Culture Crave that Denis will not have final cut. He is signed on for only one project. Could change if the movie is successful. The studio is still searching for a writer, so he's not bringing on his own writer. And James Bond will be cast after the script is finished. So it seems like Denis was also chosen because he is at the height of his powers directing wise, but he has agreed to work with David Hyman and Amy Pascal, who have a lot of control over what this movie really looks like. And so it seems like his willingness to work with the studio a lot really gave them the okay to hire him as the director. So it's interesting because, his voice and vision and choosing of the writers for Dune has made those things such classic and insanely incredible Oscar nominated films. And so it's I'm just going to keep shaking for some reason. It's very interesting that he's giving so much creative control to the studio, or the studio is so hesitant to give him creative control. But at the same time, he's an incredible filmmaker. He's worked with big studios before. He, knows how to make a heartfelt, artistic, big blockbuster, studio appeasing, audience appeasing, award appeasing movie. And so if you're going to choose someone that can hit all of those things, Denis is the right way to go. And what he's done with the Dune franchise, I don't think a lot of directors could do if their name is not Denis Villeneuve or Christopher Nolan. And so I cannot wait to see what kind of James Bond movie he comes up with. And I think it's going to be incredible. I'm so curious to see who they're going to cast. There's no way that he doesn't have a say in who's cast. He might not have final say, but he definitely will be a part of the casting for James Bond. There's no way he's not. So I cannot wait who they see. I want Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa, and hopefully James Bond, and also lanterns. Could it be? Could James Bond be black? I think he should be. I think it's about damn time. There's other idiots who think that, oh my God, if we cast a black person in a big blockbuster in a classic role, that it's not going to make money. That is a terrible way to think. That is a toxic way to think. And it's about darn time that these classic movies start reflecting the world that we live in. If you don't think that way, I'm sorry, but you're an idiot. And I don't really want to talk to you, because thinking that way is the reason why we don't have people of color so much leading properties. That way of thinking is extremely dangerous. It's how a lot of studios think. And it's the reason why people think woke culture is so bad. If being woke means that movies are representing the world that we live in, then call me woke. And if you don't think that, then I'm sorry. I don't really want to mess with you. It's a terrible way to think. And I don't condone it, to be honest. I think that the right actor for the right role, regardless of race or sex. And if you don't think that way, that's great. That's your opinion, but keep it to yourself, because it's fucking stupid and I don't like you. So that's my 2 cents. It's a little heated, but I have talked to people that I consider a friend who think that way. And agree to disagree. I can't think like that, because these movies deserve to live in the time that they live now and reflect the people that we are around. And I'm sorry, but not everybody is white. Not everybody speaks English. That's the world that we live in. And it's about darn time that these big properties start reflecting it. So that's my 2 cents. I don't really care if you disagree, because I want to see more representation with big blockbuster films with classic characters. That's how I feel. And I think Aaron Pierre, among many other actors of color, Henry Golding, who is Asian, I think there's a lot of actors out there of color that could fit the mold of James Bond. And if we are cutting them off because of the color of their skin, then we are taking a step backwards. And that is not something we should be doing in film anymore. That is a mistake. That is a dangerous, slippery slope. And that is how we go backwards and not forward. So that's my opinion on who James Bond should be. Take it as you will. But yeah, I think Aaron Pierre would be fantastic. He's going to blow up with lanterns. You know, I mean, I would love to see him in more superhero roles like Blade, but man, that is a handsome man. He's jacked. He has the acting chops. He's the only good thing in Rebel Ridge on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Mindless action movie. But I think he would be fantastic. And there's many, many other actors of color. So that is my opinion. It's okay if you don't agree, but you're wrong, because I believe in progress and I believe these movies should represent the world that we live in. So that's it. It's a hot button topic and I totally get it. And it might rub you the wrong way, but that's okay. That's okay. So whoever it is, Denis will have a say. Amy Pascal will have a say. David Heyman will have a say, and they will choose the right actor for the right role, hopefully. So that's it. Denis, we're getting you as our director of Bond, and I'm so excited. So that's everything. I was going to watch this Eden trailer. It doesn't really look that great to me. So watch it as if you want to. It's a Ron Howard joint. Sydney Sweeney's in it. Take a look at it. But other than that, I think we went over a lot of fun stuff. A lot of good, a lot of fun sequels are in the works. I can take a look at X, see if I missed anything that came out this morning while we were talking. But I don't think so. I know a lot of people. Oh, there's a first look at Avatar. The 4K extended cut of Spider-Man 2 will be released in theaters for the first time later this year. I cannot wait. I guess the full trilogy will be re-released in theaters starting September 26th. Definitely going to see Spider-Man 1 and 2. For the Transformers projects, Josh Cooley is set to direct a live-action film for the spinoff. I told you Michael Bay's potential next live action film will be a Transformers movie. And then there's two additional early projects there's two additional projects in early stages. They released a first look at Avatar Fire and Ash with the father and son dynamic of Quaritch and Spider. Looks entertaining. And then we got a first trailer for Yorgos's Begonia, starring Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, which looks bonkers as all hell. So not too much stuff. No, not too much stuff. But we got some exciting things coming. We got Ironheart also. The back half of the 3 episodes will be premiering their conclusion on Tuesday. So I can't wait to watch that. And then we are hearing that Greta Gerwig's Narnia films set at Netflix is reportedly planned to be an 8-film franchise, says the IMAX CEO. He says, I think there are like 8 movies planned. And what IMAX does best is launch franchises and launch events. So we're going to get a lot of Narnia movies coming. On top of that, The Comeback is making a comeback for season 3 with Lisa Kudrow on HBO. It'll be the final season, 11 years after the last episode premiered. So look forward to that. And that will do it. Get your Superman tickets. Get your Fantastic Four tickets, because we got a lot of fun movies coming. That will do it. Let me know if I missed anything. Drop a comment below. Be a part of the community. Find us on all our socials at The Geek Gospel. And we will see you guys next time. I love doing this. I love being with you guys. And I love going to the theater. So go to the theater this summer and have a hell of a time. Get in the seat at 4DX or a big screen. Watch F1. Watch How to Train Your Dragon. Watch all the movies. And watch us next time. Take care, my friends, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Happy Pride, everyone. Let's go. Pride, baby. Also celebrate Pride.